In this lesson, we're going to look at how trend works as an odds enhancer for supply and demand zones, and why following the direction of the trend can increase your profit potential. Trend is an odds enhancer because it represents the direction of price movement. Price movement can be up, down, or sideways, but a trend tends to continue in the direction that it's already going in. Looking at the smaller chart on the left, we see we have an uptrend, so it makes sense to buy or join the market in that direction. If we sell against the trend, the probability of profit potential is lower because it is much harder for price to turn at a supply zone when the supply zone is located in an uptrend. Hopefully that makes sense. You can think of trends like a river, so to speak, flowing in one direction. It's much easier to go with the flow opposed to struggling against the current. Now, we do have control over the way we trade. We can buy and make money as price goes up, or we can sell first and make money as price goes down. Whichever way we choose to trade, it makes more sense to follow the direction of the trend. Let's look at how trends are scored in a supply zone. Now, the best case scenario is selling in a downtrend and going with the flow of the trend in that case. Now, if the supply zone is located at or below the controlling swing high of the downtrend, the zone in that case would score 2 out of 2 possible points. A supply zone at the high end of a sideways trend or range does have some profit potential and would get a score of 1 out of 2 possible points. If you're considering selling at a supply zone located in an uptrend, the zone gets a score of 0 out of 2 possible points due to the lack of profit potential and low probability of success. Again, it's much harder for price to turn at a supply zone when the market is trending up. Now let's look at how to score the trend in a demand zone. Buying in an uptrend is going with the flow of the trend. If the zone is at or above the controlling swing low of the breakout segment within the uptrend, the zone gets a score of 2 out of 2 possible points. A demand zone located at the low end of a sideways trend has some profit potential and gets a score of 1 out of 2 possible points. However, there is not much profit potential for buying in a demand zone located in a downtrend, nor much probability for that matter. Therefore, the zone in that case would score 0 out of 2 possible points. And again, the reason being is because it's much harder for price to turn at a demand zone when the demand zone is located in a downtrending market. The lesson here to take away from all of this is always go with the trend. Going with the direction of the dominant trend increases the probability of price turning at the zone. To continue scoring our trade, take notice of the example in the upper left. We see a security in a strong uptrend made of higher highs and higher lows. We know the security is trending up and we look to join the trend at a strong demand zone. Throughout the working examples we've been using for the odds enhancers, we've always found our entry on a lower time frame. Looking here, we've identified a demand zone within the breakout segment where demand exceeds supply. When price returns to the zone, we are on the side of the trade as buyers, with a stop loss just below the distal line of our demand zone. Since this is an uptrend and our entry zone is at or above the controlling swing low, this particular zone would receive 2 out of 2 possible points. The next step is to update our scorecard to add 2 points for the trend, which brings us up to 7 points out of a maximum of 10 possible points, with 2 more odds enhancers to go. So now you know how to test and score a supply and demand zone using the odds enhancer for trend. The more odds enhancers you use to score a zone, the better the opportunity of the zone working in your favor. Before you move on, review the terminology and rules associated with the odds enhancer trend. Go back to any supply and demand zones that you've identified and score out the trend based upon the trend's direction. You want to score the trend based upon the best case scenario of 2 points, a good scenario of 1 point, or a bad scenario of 0 points. Hope to see you in the next video.